Hello, I'm Rick, also known as the Tarot Fellow, but you already know that because you're somewhere on my social media right now. This meditation that you're about to do was originally part of about 2 hours worth of coursework that came in one of the emotional empowerment boxes that myself and Hollie Hope put together. Now, the emotional empowerment boxes are kits of metaphysical and spiritual supplies, and they include coursework to help you utilize all of the items in that kit to overcome the most prevalent negative emotion in the world for that month. Now, as you do this meditation, there will be items that are mentioned that were originally part of the kit to help enhance the meditation experience. You may or may not have some of these items yourself. If you do, please feel free to use them. If not, if you have a tarot deck, I do recommend you pull out the card and sit with its energy during the meditation. And if you don't have anything at all, that's perfectly okay too. There's still something in this meditation for you. If you're interested in the emotional empowerment boxes, you can get them at thebeautyofperspective.com. And they do sell out. We pack enough for the subscribers and a few extras. And as soon as they are gone, except for the 4 original core boxes that were the first 4 releases. Those will be replenished, and so those meditations will be available only to subscribers. So get yours today at thebeautyofperspective.com, and I hope that you enjoy this meditation. Hello, Emotional Empowerment Box subscribers and Clearing Kit owners. I am Rick, also known as Tarot Fellow, and I am really happy to be here guiding you through this meditation. I realize that seeing the death card as you open the box this time was probably a little bit shocking, but that was on purpose because the emotion that we are attempting to clear, the one that clearing is most effective at moving out of our lives, is in fact the emotion of shock. And when I think about clearing, I think that people sometimes hope that it's something easy and that it's something that is just almost unnoticeable. I think we all want an experience of clearing that is simple, that is kind, that just flows, but clearing is often a little bit unexpected. And so I felt that the story that is contained in the death card in tarot is actually the most appropriate message for how clearing sometimes comes into our lives. And so in the tarot story, it's actually quite interesting at the point at which death comes into the journey, into the overall story. It's at a time where the main character of Tarot, the Fool, has begun his spiritual awakening, and he goes through this very Odin-like moment where he hangs upside down from a tree and he goes through some suffering and some realization about loss and about the loss of things that he thought were important to him. But as he is on his spiritual journey and has his spiritual awakening, he begins to realize that the things that he thought were important, things like money, things like status, are actually not what this life is all about. And he realizes he has this kind of turn of perspective where he sees the world from a different point of view. And he realizes that as he is continuing on his journey, he must release, he must let go, he must change his ideas on what his perspective is. And he must then go forward with a new mindset about spirituality and about who he really is and what he really wants to create in the world. And as he acknowledges this and accepts this, that is the moment when death comes into his life. And the card is one of those that I think people in tarot readings are particularly nervous about seeing. I hear tarot readers all the time talk about how it is a card of transition, not necessarily about physical death. But I do think that we need to not dismiss the grief, the transition, the shock that comes with events in our life, like an unexpected physical death as well, right? It's a very similar grieving process that we go through sometimes when we are clearing out things that we are spending or have spent our time and attention on that haven't borne fruit, or that aren't in alignment with who we really are and what we really want. We still want to see those things succeed in our lives because we have spent so much focus, time, and effort on them. And so we hold on and we dig in, and we sometimes put roots where they don't belong, and try to grow in places that aren't really conducive to our growth. And so when that happens and this clearing begins, sometimes we lose things that are not where we should be focusing. And having the trust and the faith that what comes next is more fertile. I think Hollie mentioned kind of in her introduction about the death card and the energy of renewal that it also symbolizes. The thing that a lot of people misinterpret, right, is that renewal piece that comes with the death card. But I think that it's also important to remember that it is a process of grief, of letting go, and of having things taken and removed that you might not necessarily have been expecting to be removed. And so it is a painful kind of release sometimes. And I definitely hope that your clearing and this month's box move things for you that you are ready to release and that you have already seen coming, right? But I do think that there will be some twists and turns in this emotion, that there will be some releasing of some things that maybe you weren't expecting, or that you question, or that you even might feel like there was some sort of failure behind because they didn't succeed to the level that you had hoped that you would succeed. And trusting that the universe, that your higher self, that yourself, that your physical self, that all parts of you have your best interest in mind, and that as these things are released and moved out of your life, that it's okay to grieve them, that it is okay to feel that loss, that it needs to be moved through and processed in order to be released and for those roots to unwind so that you can put them somewhere where they will be more able to draw nutrition and stability and life for you. And so this meditation that we're going to do is going to sit with this energy just a little bit. We'll have some visualizations in here that help us to see maybe where our perspective and focus has been, and as this energy comes in, what that means to let it go. So I hope that you enjoy this meditation. I hope that you feel that it moves some energy for you. I hope that you feel that it introduces you to some ideas and perspectives that are new and revitalizing and beautiful. And more than anything, I hope that you know that what arrives out of the ash from the energy of death is going to be a much stronger, more beautiful, more supportive, clearer environment for you. So with that, let's get ready for our meditation. You don't need anything in particular for this meditation, but if you do feel like there's something in the box that you want to have with you, that would be great. You can wash your hands with the salt scrub if you would like before this meditation, and then all you'll need to do is find a comfortable place to either sit or lie down, and you're gonna wanna go ahead and close your eyes. And I will turn off the video so that there are no more distractions. Let's take a deep breath together, in through the nose, and exhale, let it go. You should hear your breath on the exhale. Make that sighing noise. Inhale through the nose, and exhale, let it go. One more time, in through the nose, and exhale, let it go. I want you to imagine that you're walking down a path. It can be any kind of path. It could be a sidewalk in your favorite city, or a sandy beach, or a leaf-covered path through the forest in the fall. Whatever it is, I want you to take a moment to feel that path under your feet. Feel what it feels like. Listen to the sounds around you. Take in the sights, smell the air. This path is a safe one. It's one that you've walked before. It's one that you'll walk many times again. And it's comfortable, and everything around you just feels vibrant and beautiful and full of life. As you walk this path, it's full of many twists and turns, just like life. There are intersecting pathways, many choices that you can make. All of them are safe. All of them are beautiful. And all of them are full of life. The path you take today is not a normal one. Not one that you often choose to walk. Changing your path is not something that we are comfortable with in this human experience. We like things that are familiar, things that are routine. But sometimes the idea of the new and the fresh and the undiscovered and the unknown draw us to change directions, to shift just a little bit. Drastic change is always uncomfortable. And so more often we veer just a little to the left or a little to the right. One tiny degree now will make a huge difference to where the path ends up. And so we move along this new path, taking in all of the sights and the sounds. Think about just a moment what might be on this path for you. What changes? What's different? As you travel further down the path, the brightness, the vividness, the life that has surrounded you on the beginning of your walk starts to dim. The colors become muted. The vegetation becomes sparse. And you come upon a field that appears to have been recently plowed as the temperature around you drops and you realize that winter is coming and the harvest is complete and the farmer has recently tilled this ground. You wander in this place, taking in the desolation. Had you known that this path led here, to this place where things seem so flat, so gray, and so cold, you may not have taken this path to begin with. But it is still a new experience. Something you haven't seen before. And so there is still some excitement as you ponder the meaning of this desolate field. You may bend down and run your fingers through the soft dirt. This place where life once stood, where crops once grew, where sustenance was grown. And as you look back up, you see a figure in the middle of the field. It's a hooded figure atop a large white horse. Around the feet of this horse lie the bones of those who have passed. As you get closer, with a little trepidation, but yet a curiosity that draws you towards it, you notice that the bones are of children and adults alike. There's an old man wearing religious robes standing in front of the figure, pleading with him that he knows God, he knows the way, he knows the path, and he's not yet ready to move, to transition, to change. You can see the fear on his face, yet his pleas go unanswered. This is death, the spirit of transition and transformation. Death holds no judgment. He treats all equally, men, women, old, young. His timing is not your time. When he comes, it doesn't matter if you've been good or bad. just like this field, the time comes to be harvested and tilled. The hooded figure turns to you. You peer deep into the hood where his face should be. Maybe you see darkness there. Maybe you see bones or a skeleton. But whatever it is, it feels like he is communicating with you, telling you now is not your time. He did not come for you, but he came for things in your life whose time it is to be tilled. In the background, behind his head, you can see the sun, but whether it is rising or setting, you can't decide. And so it is with death. You hear him speak into your mind that death is but a beginning and an end, all within one step. When the time comes and the scythe strikes and the field is turned, you may feel some disappointment. You may feel some grief. You may not have made enough money for your crops, and so you might not be ready to let them go. But when the time is here, the ground must be tilled. He invites you to change. He invites you to embrace the cycles in our lives, which are miniature versions of the cycles of life itself, constantly churning, constantly changing, constantly needing clearing, so that when the sun rises again, new crops can sprout, new life can be given, new birth can push forth from that soil. It is time now to leave the presence of death, to take his lessons and his energy and his feeling and his constant movement and ability to change, his lack of judgment, back to our world, to your body, to your time, here in the room where you listen to these words. Take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale and let go. You can wiggle your fingers and roll out your wrists and your ankles. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. I love the visualization of the barren field because in it there is some sadness, but yet there's also this excitement for the new, for what will be there in the coming months. If you hold on to the things of the past, to the crops that maybe did really well for you, but whose time has come and whose transition is made sure by the weather, by the farmer, by death itself, then we are living in the past. So it's my hope that you accept change and transition, that you learn to detach and let go, and that as you find clearing, you look to the excitement of what's coming, because we all know that that field doesn't stay empty and barren for long. And if you find that clearing is hard for you, then knowing and remembering that will hopefully give you motivation and ambition for what's coming next. Thank you for joining